There is a massive 260-acre plot of land in the heart of Bel Air that just hit the auction block, and the minimum bid price is only $39 million.
Senderos Canyon, as it's being called, is 6% of all the available land area in Bel Air. So it's 260, between 260 263 acres of untouched land. So it stretches about 5 miles. It's about 3 times the size of Disneyland Park.
Let's pull it up on the map real quick together before we get into the marketing material. So you can see the property itself is kind of stretched inside of this little canyon right here, and you can see Brentwood is over here. You've got the property which is basically in the middle of Bel Air. Holmby Hills is over here. Beverly Hills is down here. Then if we flip over to Google Earth, which is cool because it gives us that spinning 3D view that we look at a lot of the time here on the channel. This for one just shows us how big and uniquely shaped this property is. It's definitely unlike anything I've ever seen for sale in Bel Air before.
At the very top, which is off of Moraga Drive to the north, is about 15 to 20 flat to gently sloping acres, and then it goes down into a canyon, and there are various promontories throughout the property all the way down, with some views and flat area and that sort of thing. And a lot of it's canyon. Down the center of it is a blue line stream, meaning that it's managed by Fish and Game, and most times it's a trickle, but lately it's been kind of full because of the rains here.
It is definitely a selling point that this offering comes with so much land all lumped together, but what you notice that's unique about this property specifically is that instead of it being perched up on the top of a ridge like you see with a lot of these trophy properties out in California, instead it's at the bottom of the canyon, which is a little bit different. Reports say that the sellers first started trying to sell this lot back in 2013 for $125 million. They dropped the price to $75 million in 2019, and then by 2021, they dropped the price again to about 60 million bucks. I'm curious what their initial plan was with the property and why they're now planning to just sell it as is.
The goal was to have a family compound, so build one large house and some outbuildings for guests, and then a championship golf course. They had Tom Fazio, his group, come and do a preliminary plan for a golf course. So their goal was to have their wealthy friends from around the world come, stay, play golf, enjoy Bel Air.
The route that the owners are taking to get Senderos Canyon sold this time is not your typical route where you just throw the property up on the MLS and cross your fingers and wait for a buyer to come along. They're actually going the auction route. The auction house is called Paramount Realty USA, and on their website they showcase this as the most monumental development opportunity in Los Angeles. Listing the property out on an auction website like this is sending a message to the market that says, hey, we are serious as sellers. We actually want this property sold. It's a good marketing move, in my opinion. Property highlights here tell us in the overview that the lot is 260 acres, and they refer to the property as Los Angeles' largest and last private undeveloped parcel. Speaking of those development opportunities, you're probably like me and wondering what the heck somebody would do with 260 acres if they actually did buy this place. What is the likelihood you think that a developer comes in and then just chops this up and then builds a bunch of mega mansions down there in the canyon?
So by right, meaning based upon the slope density and the allowable codes and all that stuff, someone could build up to 17 homes on the property. So someone coming looking to build 400, 500, 1,000 homes is not going to happen. There's just, even with variances, that's far reaching, and I don't think there's a possibility of that happening. Same thing with anything really commercial. I don't think a large commercial property. We talked to somebody about wanting to do a retirement community. I don't think that's feasible unless they did some sort of residential aspect of it. It's also zoned equestrian, I should point out. So someone could have horses, they could do horse trails, a riding rink, that sort of thing, within the zoning. So they have to get approvals to do so, entitlements and things, but that's what it's zoned for.
The marketing brochure gives us some inspiration here. Concept number one is they're saying you could use the length of this property to build a big championship golf course, country club, and equestrian center. Concept number two says it would be good for a wellness retreat. I guess that's what you see pictured here. And then concept number three is unique. This one is a wine-producing family compound with a big house and tennis court over here on the bottom right. Then this long drive on the left leads you out to the vineyards, it looks like. as far as you're aware, has there been any pushback or opposition from the neighbors in terms of developing this land? I would imagine some of the neighbors want that preserved,
No
right?
matter what, you're going to get neighbor pushback. Even the
Yeah,
people up on the ridge. I mean, at some point there was neighbor pushback on the building of their home that they're sitting in right now, looking down, saying, "Oh, we don't want, not in my backyard," kind of thing.
yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, I really believe that if someone were to come in and do something in line with improving the property, really, and not just trying to use it as some big space where you can put up some buildings, but building into an eco-friendly sort of environment. Fire mitigation is real important to the neighbors. Things like that, and improving the area, and maybe having some of the land open for hiking trails, open to the public somehow, might help get things pushed through.
One cool part of the marketing is that this Senderos Canyon property affords an opportunity to shape the legacy of Bel Air's story forever, with it being the largest remaining offering of untouched acreage in Bel Air. So if you were the buyer and you moved forward with building some super exclusive golf club in the canyon or something like that, your family name would literally go down in Bel Air history.
Look, I think owning and controlling 6% of all the land in Bel Air is something really special. I can't see where 260 acres will ever come available again in Southern California, particularly in Los Angeles, right? I mean, there's some areas where there's open land, not in LA County. There's really just nothing like this. So it really is an amazing opportunity, once in a lifetime.
The way this auction will work is pretty simple. There's just 4 steps for people who are interested. You start by downloading the sales brochure. Then you review all of the due diligence documents. Step 3 is you tour the property. This is by appointment only, and proof of funds are required. So
Yeah.
how do you show a property like this? Is it by helicopter?
You could do by helicopter, and we have footage and photos from helicopter. There are a couple areas that you can go to see the property, look down and see it. For example, there is a closed market. It's the Bel Air Market off of Roscoe Road. At the end of that parking lot, you can look down and see a good chunk of the land. Same thing from Bel Air Crest. From up in Bel Air Crest, if you get into through the gates, you can see it. And then, of course, we can walk the top sort of acreage once you come in off of Moraga, so you can park there and walk down into it.
I'm assuming that the minimum bid is set at that $39 million number, because that's right around what the seller needs to break even to pay for what they've got into the land, plus all of their commissions, plus all of the property taxes and upkeep that they've had to pay for over all of these years. But honestly, guys, I feel pretty confident that they're going to get way above that asking price. I mean, let's take a look at some comparable properties that have sold out there over the past couple of years. We've got Mohammed Hadid's Franklin Canyon lots that sold for $34 million about a year ago. Yes, these were a better hilltop location, but it also was only 66 acres. Then there's the Paul Allen Enchanted Hill Estate, another epic property, but this one was only 120 acres and sold for $65 million a little over a year ago. And of course, there's the property that was called The Mountain. This one was 157 acres and it only sold for $100,000, but that was kind of a unique situation. We talked about that one on the channel a while back. Go check out the video if you want to hear that crazy story. Who is the most likely buyer of this property? Is it a developer who does plan to build several luxury homes, or is it a family who's looking to just build some type of a legacy property to be passed down for generations?
It's probably the former. I think that an ultra high net worth individual, perhaps a foreign buyer, maybe a family office who wants to come and acquire the land, build an estate or multiple homes on it. I think that's the likeliest buyer. However, it could be anybody. We actually did show it to a woman who was thinking of doing a yoga retreat with goats, and she was going to have sort of goats running wild, eating the vegetation, and then you get to do goat yoga with them. That didn't pan out, but it was an interesting concept.
Time will tell how this all shakes out. I set a reminder for March to check back in on the auction and see if a deal was closed. That's all I've got for you guys for this one. I'll see you next time.